and Juan Fangio, all a couple of laps down. Greg Moore is back in the fight, the back of the pack there, 26 laps adrift, and he'll be out there just to get some more practice on these 1 mile overs. They're tough cookies to cope with these tracks, and he just needs to pick up the experience, work on setting up the car for when they go down the 1 mile oval in Milwaukee at the beginning of June. So good plan there by the players team to get the car back in the race.
We're going green flag racing once again. Raul Boesel hits the throttle as he comes out of turn 3 and accelerates to cross the line. Raul Boesel leads from Dario Franchitti in second position, and they are now got Paul Tracy bearing down on them. It'd be interesting to see how quickly Paul Tracy can deal with these two, but he's got to overtake them if he wants to get ahead once more. Franchitti has a look in his mirrors, but he's under no obligation to let Tracy through at all. They're racing for position. Franchitti in second place at the moment, and the young Scots driver, what a baptism he's having. Only his second oval race, and in some ways his first true oval race. The cars in Homestead were running in quite a different configuration. Here on the 1 mile oval at Nazareth, they've got lots of downforce, they've got great big wings front and rear. The car quite different to drive here, and the Nazareth oval, one of the most difficult. There you can see Paul Tracy is bearing down on Franchitti. Meanwhile, it's giving Raul Boesel the opportunity to escape up front.
Just a little bit, 20.4 the last lap by Raul Boesel. Franchitti 3 or 4 tenths off of that, but driving a beautiful line there, very clean indeed. Paul Tracy's going to have to work hard to get past the guy. Fabulous job by Dario Franchitti. You'd think he was a veteran.
That's right, and only in his 4th ever race. He never came and saw any of the races before he got into the car to actually race in Miami. So it's been an incredible learning experience for Franchitti, but with an excellent team owner, Carl Hogan, who's been through it all before. But now it looks as though Tracy tucked in the slipstream and dives past as they go into turn 3. Good, clean passing manoeuvre from Paul Tracy. He knew that Franchitti was quick. He had to do a decent job on him. He did so Franchitti goes back to 3rd. Tracy now goes chasing after Raul Boesel.
Very smart driving by Paul Tracy, waiting for the opportunity. He got a great run out of turn 2 at the top of the hill and took advantage to draw alongside Dario Franchitti, who went downhill into turn 3, cleanly through on the inside. Dario paying attention. Great move by Paul Tracy. As you say, now he sets his sights on Raul Boesel.
Boesel lapping in the 20.5 bracket last lap, and Paul Tracy at 20.3, a couple of a tenth second faster. Paul Tracy still the fastest man on the circuit by the looks of things as he chases after Boesel. Paul Tracy leads as the racing starts once more, and Dario Franchitti lies in second position. Behind Franchitti, it's Maurizio Guterman in 3rd.
Top 3 all Mercedes-Benz engines. They've gone 20 races without a win, and they've got the top 3 at the moment. They've also got 5th place with Alonso Jr. there. Mercedes looking very strong this afternoon at Nazareth Speedway.
Yes, I spoke to Paul Morgan of Ilmore just a little bit before the start of the race, and he was saying that it's not necessarily an engine circuit, this one. Really, the engine builders are all reliant upon the chassis guys getting their side of the equation right, because this circuit, it's all about getting the chassis right. The power really doesn't make such a difference. If the car's handling goes wrong, it doesn't matter what kind of engine you've got in the back of your car, you are not going to get anywhere. But it looks as though Penske have got their chassis dialed in well. The Hogan team with Dario Franchitti seem to have got their car dialed in pretty well. Let's just check out the lap times. A 20.1 on the last lap for Franchitti, or rather for Tracy. A 20.5 from Franchitti. Good effort as Tracy's last lap goes to 20.3. So Dario pretty much on the pace. Guterman 20.6, De Ferran 20.7. So Dario really is on the pace at the moment with the front runners. The main guy on a charge again, as we've seen throughout this race, is Alonso Jr. and he's been wanting to get past De Ferran, it seems like forever, but he's right behind the Brazilian once again. Yeah, the Brazilian there, Gil De Ferran, really doing a nice job. He's being faster. He needs to be fast. He's got to get off turn 2 to stop Alonso Jr. getting a run at him down the hill. He's doing a masterful job of that at the moment, and Gil De Ferran certainly has control, I would say at this stage of the game at least, over Alonso Jr. Across the line they go to complete 95 or 94 laps at the moment. Gil De Ferran lies in 4th place, Alonso Jr. in 5th place. Let's just run through the order again for you. Bobby Rahal's behind them in 6th, Richie Hearn in 7th position, not far behind. Jimmy Vasser 8th, Brian Hertz at 9th. Scott Pruitt is in 10th place, 11th is Mark Blundell, 12th is Patrick Carpentier, 13th for Michael Andretti now, and still trying to work his way up the order, lapping quickly at 20.7. And here you can see a picture of Gilles de Ferran with Angela and the new baby, Luke Anthony, who was born just last week. Congratulations to Gilles de Ferran and family. And let's hope that Gilles' season takes a little bit of an upturn in fortune, Jeremy, with the addition to the family, because he has been having some bad luck this year.
Boy, nothing has gone right for him so far, has it? Been involved in accidents at every single race. And chassis number 011 here, 97011, has been in the wars this year so far, but he's doing a masterful job this weekend, and a good strong run so far. This is still very early stages in the race, still not yet halfway, plenty of time to go for Gilles de Ferran.
Fangio, it looks as though, or is it Jones? It's Jones, I think, slowing down, and I wonder if that's going to cause another yellow flag. We'll keep our eyes peeled to see whether the yellow is thrown. It looked for a moment as though Unser was getting even closer to de Ferran, but as you say, Jeremy, each time de Ferran's very quick out of turn 2, and that really doesn't give Unser the opportunity. Here Unser closes in, there's not really the chance into turn 1, and it's certainly difficult into turn 2.
It's difficult anywhere on this racetrack, particularly if the cars are equally matched, with these two seem to be at the moment. They're both on Goodyear tyres, they're both on the same kind of tyres, they're both using the primary tyre, which is the harder of the two Goodyears, and they are very, very closely matched. It's tough. You can't. You're not going to walk past anybody here, and there's particularly now we've got rid of some of the slower traffic. A couple of Toyotas have fallen by the wayside, and there is less traffic around to hold up the leaders. It's going to be awfully difficult to make a pass.
So the gap remains pretty constant between these two. Paul Tracy's lead at the moment is just under a second from Dario Franchitti, and that just shows you Franchitti is on the same pace as Paul Tracy at this point in the race. Brilliant performance from Franchitti.
Quite brilliant. There is a couple of slower cars there, which has allowed Mauricio Gugelmin to close up. That is Greg Moore right ahead of him on the road. Ooh, a little bit of a
Franchitti could be in trouble. He could be in trouble here from Mauricio Gugelmin, bearing down on him. The Hollywood car is right behind. That's in third place. Franchitti in the silver and blue car is just holding on to second at the moment, but is he going to continue holding on to second as they go down the back straight? Mauricio Gugelmin dives down the inside. Oh, Franchitti tries to stay with him around the outside, but he couldn't quite do it. But he's certainly learning the art of oval racing as Gugelmin goes up to second. But watch out, because de Ferran and Unser are not far behind, and Franchitti's in danger of losing several places in one go here if he's not careful. He's in third at the moment. Fourth is de Ferran in the Valvoline Cummins car, and then right behind him is Unser Jr. What a tremendous battle this is turning into.
Car number 2 never counted out, and what a great battle here for second place at the moment. Paul Tracy pulling out a little bit, 3.5 second lead that time over Mauricio Gugelmin, but here's this battle going on just behind them, and boy, it's non-stop action. It's a great race going on here. There is Unser Jr. looking again to the inside, not this time.
So Paul Tracy leads from Mauricio Gugelmin and Dario Franchitti. That's our order, but what a great battle it is for third, with de Ferran and Unser in there as well. .20 laps to go here at Nazareth. Paul Tracy leads by 4.9 seconds now. He's opened up the advantage over the last lap or two as the battle continued for second. Gugelmin has moved into second place, past Dario Franchitti, and Franchitti now under pressure from Gilles de Ferran. Gilles de Ferran took a look down the inside, but Dario's not to be intimidated that easily. He might be a rookie, he might be in his first race here at Nazareth, but he is not going to let anybody pass without a battle, and Unser Jr. had the chance to close up behind de Ferran there, almost as a result, and Gilles a little wide through turn 2. Unser Jr. perhaps with his closest opportunity, but still out of the corner. He gets away from the Penske.
Honda horsepower there. Are you able to get to the power to the road there in the car number 5, the Valvoline car of Derek Walker Racing, and Gilles de Ferran here being careful. He's coming up now. There is Greg Moore ahead of him. Greg Moore's running very quickly, isn't he, at this stage in the race, even though he's 20 odd laps behind, and Greg Moore, if they come up really close behind him, I'm sure he'll let them go. I'm sure he won't hold them up unduly, because he knows he's out of contention for the race. But still, they've still got to work their way past him, and that's not going to be an easy task if they're running similar speeds.
Greg Moore, the car that we saw earlier that had a fluid leak, we thought he'd actually pulled out of the race, but the team obviously deciding to repair the car and get him back out there, because this could be a race of attrition, and there's still an opportunity to pick up the odd point.
Yeah, there is Dario Franchitti, Alan Jr. right behind him, and only a few cars, well, there they are right behind, and the next two cars also closing in, Bobby Rahal and Richie Hearn, who's doing a fabulous job there, running in 7th place at the moment, but right in contention there, with that whole group really battling for 2nd place.
So Dario Franchitti managing to get away from that battle between De Ferran and Unser, getting Greg Moore between them, and again we can't stop saying just how impressed we are with Franchitti's performance so far. Let's hope he keeps it up. Fangio into the pits there in the top right hand corner of your screen, and he seems to be suffering with a few problems at the moment, but Franchitti dealing with the traffic, dealing with the turbulence, which is a critical part of driving on an oval track. Once you get behind these other cars at these sort of speeds, remember they're doing over 190 miles an hour as they go up that back straight, and the slowest part of the circuit they're still doing over 140 miles an hour. The speeds here are just tremendous, and once you get behind another car into the turbulent air that car creates, the handling of the car changes, and each lap around the oval is different as the fuel load goes down, as the tyres wear more. So Franchitti holding on superbly to 3rd position at the moment, but don't forget the race leader, the one who's doing the job best of all at the moment, is Paul Tracy. After 111 laps, Tracy leads from Guterman, Franchitti, De Ferran, Unser and Rahal. On lap number 114 then, with an advantage as he comes across the line. Let's just check what the gap is, 7.6 seconds, and that is a big advantage for Paul Tracy now leading this race. 22.7 his last lap, 22.0 for Maurizio Gugelmin, as Dario Franchitti continues in 3rd place.
Yeah, both working themselves through a little knot of slower cars there. Tracy slowed up a little bit on that lap, and just that'll allow that second group to close in just a little bit perhaps, although of course in a couple of laps time they will have to pass the same group of cars.
I think Dario's just come into the pits, Franchitti has come into the pits, so has Roberto Moreno, so 2 cars, and of course remember Franchitti made an earlier stop, so he has now had to come into the pits, and he's had to make his 2nd stop under green flag conditions. Also in the pits is Michel Jourdain, and that's the Mexican car you can see there. I can tell you that Roberto Moreno is back out of the pit lane. There is Moreno, we are riding on board with him now, waiting to see Franchitti come out. Where is Dario? I can just I'm watching down the pit lane at the moment, and I can see Dario Franchitti now leaving the pit lane and stopping under green flag, so that will drop him down the order once again. But let's wait and see what happens later in the race. He will still presumably have one more stop to make, but if that takes place under yellow flags, then that may be an opportunity for him to make up some of the lost ground. Unser attacking De Ferran again. Unser looking down the inside into turn 3. Still not quite the opportunity to get the Penske alongside the blue and white car of Gilles de Ferran, who is right behind the red and white car of Maurizio Guterman. Guterman is going slow here, and De Ferran has got the chance. Oh, he squeezes through on the inside, and De Ferran goes up into 2nd position, and Unser, I think, is going to go up into 3rd. Guterman on the left-hand side. Oh, he just gets into turn 3 ahead of Unser Jr. So Guterman for the moment holds on to 3rd, but Unser is chasing after him. He wants to get past him and go on the chase of De Ferran.
I think what happened there as they went through turn 1, Gugelmin was trying to get a run on Greg Moore, and he had to lift out of the throttle. That enabled Gilles de Ferran, Gilles de Ferran to keep the momentum up and get alongside going into the next corner. Great move by both drivers really. De Ferran careful not to make contact with the car, and Gugelmin just giving him the room he needs. There's no point in closing the door at that stage.
So all changes at the moment as Tracy leads, but the battle for 2nd continues. Lap number 120 as Tracy leads, but Gilles de Ferran now in 2nd place, Gugelmin in 3rd. Al Unser Jr. now has to get past Gugelmin, and as you say, Jeremy, it was Gugelmin who lost that little bit of speed because of the back markers. Now that they're into clear air again, Gugelmin is again lapping very quickly, 21.6 last lap, so they've all lost some pace now that the tyres are beginning to wear a little bit in this stint, and Gilles de Ferran is now only just ahead of Guterman again, and Guterman's sort of coming back at him. Really good battle between these three.
They're very, very closely matched indeed, all these cars, and Greg Moore right in front of them as well. But, you know, Moore's not making it easy for these guys, and he's a long way behind. They're enabling Paul Tracy to pull out ever more of a lead. He's got almost half a lap on these guys already. It's over 12 seconds. That's more than half a lap on this little racetrack. And I think Greg Moore needs to perhaps get out of the way a little bit. Let him go past and then tuck in behind him would be a much smarter move.
Alonso Jr. looking close again to the back of Guterman's car. Let me tell you that Dario Franchitti is down in 16th place now, having had to make that second pit stop under green flag racing conditions. That's how much time you lose. Franchitti down to 16th now, but still lapping quickly. His last lap was at 20.8, and that is about the fastest of anybody on that last lap, I think. So Franchitti's still going very quickly as Alonso Jr. almost alongside Guterman once more, but again, he can't get alongside enough to really make that move stick. And De Ferran now has got that problem of following behind Greg Moore, and there's another car up ahead of them. It looked like Parker Johnston, so this thing really could change every time. Franchitti